Before you dive in, I just wanted to give you a heads up that when I recorded the episode, for some reason, the audio didn't record on my professional mic, but it recorded on my phone. And I believe this episode was literally perfect. It was like everything that I mentioned and the energy that I mentioned it was so powerful. And I am like, I am not re-recording this. It's all meant to come out how it came out of me. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. The audio won't be how it usually sounds. And for those of you that are new here, I just wanted to give you a heads up that that is not how the audio always sounds. So this is my pro mic, and then the rest of the episode will have the phone audio, but it's a really, really good one, I promise you. So enjoy tuning in. Welcome back to the Shine and Thrive Photography Podcast. And if you are new here, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here. Normally, I'm having a lot of conversations on, business development specifically related to photography and also personal development. But I'm actually starting a new series right now. So this is the start of about 5 or 6 episodes coming up in the next 5 to 6 weeks. And it's all about how to diversify your income as a photographer. So you're also offering mentoring, online courses, workshops, all these things, because honestly, this has been such a huge game changer, life changer for my life, but also has given me a whole nother experience around my purpose. It has expanded my purpose. I get to use different parts of my brain, if that makes sense. So for those of you that are photographers, you know that when we are creating photos, it's like we're just using that part of our brain that's like more creative, I guess, in the visual sense. But then here, with teaching and education, it allows me to use my brain in a different sense and just study things more intellectually, problem solve, strategize a little bit more. So it really satiates that part of me. So I'm so excited to dive into this episode. So I'm already getting ahead of myself. So in today's episode, I'm going to cover my story of when I first offered my very first workshop ever. And then when I started mentoring, and then when now I have 3 online courses. So it's been a journey, and I'm going to share that with you. And I want you to think of it as like a timeline that I'm sharing with you of the key milestones I had and what I experienced. And I'm obviously for sure going to be sharing how much I earned in each year, pretty much, because I'm an open book when it comes to sharing money, revenue, all that. I love money talk, and I want to be open with it, because whenever I hear people that I look up to, or when I listen to podcasts and people are just fully transparent about how much they're earning in their businesses, without hearing those people share that so openly and vulnerably, I would have not known what is possible for me. And I would have stayed stuck in the idea that, I don't know if it's possible. Earning a lot of money is probably just available for bigger businesses, bigger corporations. It's not possible for a small business, or not possible with a small team. Because I personally, at least where I am right now, I'm not feeling drawn to having a big team supporting me. And big team, I mean, that could be different for anyone. It's subjective, but I personally right now don't want to have 5 full-time employees or 10 or anything like that. I just want to have support and, from freelancers, people working for me part-time. And I just wanted to keep things very simple and small. And when I heard other people sharing that, wait, you get to have a simple, small business still, but then still make multiple 6 figures and scale that even more and still keep it all relatively small and very simple and not complex. It just opened up my mind to this possibility. And I realized that it unlocked this realization that wait, I do have a passion to help others, to guide others, to share my knowledge, to share what works. I don't know about you, but I remember before I started this education pillar of my business, I remember I would just be devouring all of this personal development, podcast books or business development as well. And then I would find that I would just want to share that with people. So I would give unsolicited advice to my family, to my friends. And I'm like, wait a second. Like if someone isn't ready to hear it, it's just, I get it. I get it. It's unsolicited. I didn't realize I was doing it. And then I'm like, I need an outlet for this and I can get paid to just be me and live out my passion of like sharing things that work and sharing them in a way that empowers people to make the best decisions that are aligned with their soul. Not like the whole thing about why I love creating the podcast the way I do, why I love the courses that I've created is because my intention around everything I create is that it helps guide my students to making the decisions that are best for them and not what they think they should be doing. We are so inundated these days with everything that like so many strategies or ideas of you should be doing this in your business, you should be doing this. And I love to teach principles and then empower you to choose what is like actually resonating with you and then leave the rest, because that is what's going to create that like custom success recipe for your own business. So the fact that I get to do this and I love it and I get to get paid really well for it and help people along the way is incredible. So if I'm sharing this with you and you're already getting excited within, then yeah, this episode is going to be incredible because my intention here is to help you realize the potential within yourself that if you are feeling drawn to this world, to sharing your knowledge and just, you'll hear it from my story of how small I started, how simply I started. Do not go into overwhelm, into overthinking of like, but I didn't even know how to create an online course and I have to create an online course and I have to do this. No. Start small. And you're going to hear from my story of how it all like built upon itself. Right. But I am just here to help you unlock that inside of you, to help uplift you, inspire you. Let me help you step into a world of possibility that you can add this pillar to your business and it can be very profitable and lucrative and at the same time so fulfilling because you're just helping others. You're helping guide others in what you know worked for you in your business. And you're always 10 steps ahead or 5 steps ahead of someone else. And there's someone literally yearning for you to share that with them because they're attracted to you, your energy, your personality. Just like right now, you're listening to this podcast episode from me and you're yearning right now. You're like, yes, please share all the details, share all the juicy details so I can get inspired and I can see how I can make this happen and work for my life. So just know you can be this for someone else too. We all have that inside of ourselves. And so, yeah, just pay attention to that inner compass throughout this episode. If you're getting excited about all of this, or if it's feeling like, nah, it doesn't feel like it's the right fit for me, amazing. Listen to that. But at least you'll get clarity at the end of this episode. At least hopefully some, because I still have so many amazing episodes coming your way. And next week's episode will be one about how to get clarity to know if mentoring and teaching is for you. So yeah, let me dive in because I'm getting ahead of myself. I love talking about all of this. But before I dive into my milestones, my timeline, my story of how to date, I earned $369,000 in revenue just from teaching, from guiding other photographers. That is mind-boggling. When I actually saw that number, I took a moment to like celebrate because I didn't actually have that number calculated from like my full, I guess, teaching side of my career. And I was like, wow, Sarah, I'm very proud of you, like pat on your back. So yes, I've earned $369,000 in revenue since I started this. But before I dive into the story of that, I do want to mention that at the end of this episode, I will be sharing some incredibly powerful free resources that my coach, James Wedmore, has for those of you that are excited to get into the online business space, which is like AKA helping other photographers through mentoring, workshops, online courses. Let's just say online education space. I'm just going to call it that to keep it simple moving forward in this episode. So stay tuned to the end of the episode to hear about these free resources because one of the resources, it's normally a $197 course and he's giving it away for free. And I have the inside scoop for that. So you get to have that. And also I have different resources for different like levels and like needs of where you are right now with like starting this pillar of your business or even just thinking about it. So stay tuned for that. So let's dive into it. So my whole journey actually started in 2014, and that's 10 years ago now. And I want to preface this and say that it's only when I like dipped my toe and you'll hear from the story, but it's not when things really like it's not when I started really taking it seriously. So in 2014, I hosted I called it the beginner photography workshop. And it was because I was inspired to create it because I realized how amazing it felt to finally know how to use my camera on manual. And it took me so long to learn it when I went to college, when I went to photography school. The teacher there, I don't know why it took them like 2 months to teach us how to use a camera on manual. It just took forever. And I felt intuitively inside of me like I knew how to explain it in more layman's terms and simplify it so that people can get it like right away, much faster. And so I was like, you know what? I feel like I can like help some people with this because I know how to do it. So I offered this for $125. 4 people signed up. So that meant I made $500 off of that workshop. And I just hosted it at my parents' house at that time. So I was 24 at that time, still living with my parents. And I hosted it in our living room and had a slide deck situation presentation happening. And I had also a little planned shoot after so people can kinetically learn and practice the skills that they just learned on how to use their camera on manual. And yeah, that was a huge success because I had like raving reviews. One of the students even said, Sarah, I've been trying to learn this like for so long. And today it finally clicked for me. Like you just made me understand how the whole manual photo situation works. And that was like so amazing for me to hear. And that was my first hit of like, wow, I love this feeling of being able to teach something that I know and give that gift to others. But the thing that I realized was I actually didn't enjoy teaching the technical stuff. Like I am not a gearhead. I am not one to be like, oh, new camera is out. Let me go check it out at the camera store and like, ooh, let me play with it, tinker. I'm like, no. I don't know why I hate gear. I don't like it. It's just like, if I could just be free of it to do my job, that would be the best thing ever. I don't like learning it, all these things. So I realized I didn't like teaching it, and that's okay. So from there, I hosted that one workshop, made $500, helped those 4 people. And then I paused and I was like, you know what? I'm realizing getting ahead of myself. My photography business isn't where I want it to be yet. And I know that I want that to be like a well-running machine first. So I paused that and I started just focusing on continuing to grow my photography business. So from 2014, from when I posted that to May 2016, that's when I was just focused on growing my photography business. And then May 2016, when I was in Paris to photograph an elopement, I was staying in this really beautiful, like adorable Airbnb. And because I was in this like new city and like new space, and I had like time to myself to just like focus on like work and also traveling at the same time, I just got inspired and I was like, I want to offer mentoring sessions. And this is because I was just naturally getting questions from photographers in the DMs on Instagram, like, hey, how do you do this? Or how do you do that? Or naturally, people are just asking me questions. They're like, okay, well, I do want to answer these questions, but I prefer to answer them like in depth, properly, and like one-on-one. So I started offering mentoring sessions. I remember how simple it was. I literally I took a self-portrait of myself in this Airbnb. I put it into Photoshop, added the title, now offering mentoring sessions, and I put that up on Instagram. And then from that, in that year, let me see my notes here. So yeah, in 2016, I booked 6 mentoring sessions and for a total of $2,500. So I was offering like a 2-hour one-on-one mentoring session when they were just able, the expectation was come hang out with me 2 hours, ask me questions, I will answer them. We will dive deep where it's needed. But that was pretty much it for $500 for 2 hours. And I wasn't even marketing them. I kind of just like posted that once and then I got some bookings. And then when I did have other people asking me questions, I just said, I feel like this would be better if we had more time. I offer mentoring sessions. Do you want to like have one with me? Some people would say yes. Some people would say no. And that's pretty much it. So I wasn't really like, this wasn't like a whole like new part of my business. It was just something I was doing additional on the side because I knew I could and I wanted to. I was feeling drawn to it. But I was still mostly focused on my photography business. Then in 2017, I made $3,700 from mentoring sessions. And again, I wasn't really marketing them, just like how I just mentioned before. It would just like pop up naturally in conversations. And so I made that in 2017. Then this is where things shifted the following year. So if you're looking at the timeline now, I've talked to you about the year 2014 to the year 2017. So that's like 3 years where I was just like dabbling, like literally dipping my toe in it. And then 2018, that's when so many things changed. And I noticed that in these mentoring sessions, I was noticing patterns of similar questions that people were asking me. And I was also noticing that if I've gotten this question before multiple times from people inside of me, I was getting a little like frustrated that I had to answer it again. And I was like, what is this frustration? Like, why? Like, I love sharing this knowledge. Why am I getting frustrated about it? Right. And of course, as soon as I like would start answering the question, the frustration would go away and I would be in the moment present answering the question for that one person. But our bodies communicate with us. They tell us things and we need to pay attention. And when I would kind of step away, when I was done the mentoring session, I would just like reflect on why do I have that frustrated feeling? And I realized, oh, it's because I feel like I'm literally re-explaining the thing I've explained to other people, and it feels like I'm wasting my breath. And this is the thought that came up, right? And I realized then I'm like, but why do I feel like I'm wasting my breath? I'm literally helping the person that is asking the question right in front of me. And then it went to something in my mind said, because you can say the same answer to many people all at once and help more people. And I was like, oh, so I am meant to like speak in front of more people, to share it in a group setting so that I impact more people at the same time. And actually something I'm just like so interested in right now is human design. And one of my, oh my gosh, I'm actually so excited because I have my friend from the mastermind I'm in, Madeline Evergreen. She is coming on the podcast today and the episode's coming out a little bit later. I think it's June anyway. But we're going deep into human design. And right now, as I was talking through the story with you, I realized, I was feeling frustration. And in my human design, I'm a 5-1 generator. I believe it's 5-1 or 1-5. I'm still learning that stuff, but I'm a generator. And in my chart, it says that if I'm out of alignment, a sign from my soul, from my body, is frustration. And as I was just telling you this now, I just had this aha moment of, oh, yes, my body's communicating with me that like I was feeling frustrated, but it wasn't because I was in the wrong line of work, quote unquote. Like I was still meant to guide people and mentor people, but I knew now, like it's like my soul gave me a promotion. I knew I was meant to do it to more than one person at once. So this is where I took all of the questions that people were constantly asking me, and I created a workshop out of it in my own home, in my living room. So that meant I kept my expenses really low. That meant it was really, really profitable. And I got to help a bunch of people at the same time. So I created a presentation and like an idea of like a day of how I would, lay out the workshop. And that was so amazing and uplifting. And that was like my eureka moment of, when people were asking me, even in the group setting, when there were like 5, 6, 7 people there, I don't remember how many in each group there were because it was so long ago. But even if someone asked me the same question that beforehand I got frustrated answering, I didn't get frustrated in a group setting. And then I'm like, this is perfect. This means I'm in alignment. This means that I know that I'm helping multiple people at the same time with my answer. And like a side note, hello, this is why I have a podcast because as my soul kept wanting to give me a promotion at some point, like workshops felt too small and I needed to like project my voice and my guidance like further to help even more people. Right. So this is just like my inner thoughts, my inner journey. I want to share it with you in case you're noticing the same signs as well. Or just to keep in mind for like future reference, to notice those signs within you. So 2018 was a big year because now let me get to the like financial part. Like 2018 from this workshop and these workshops that I hosted. Plus I did also do some mentoring sessions still. I was still doing them when I felt like, oh yeah, this person needs the one-on-one. I made $21,700 and like my expenses, my overhead were like pretty much nothing. It was so cheap because it was just always people were just coming to my house. It was so profitable and fulfilling at the same time. I'm like, I am onto something. And then this is where I'm like, I love this. And like, I feel like my photography business is so well set up. Like I had my outsourcing system set up. Like I was working 4-hour work days during the week. Even when I was shooting like 37 weddings, I had 37 weddings in 2018. I had so much extra time that I'm like, okay, I want to go even deeper with this. I want to go even further. And so I invested in my education. I invested in Business by Design by James Wedmore. So my mentor, he's been my mentor for all these years. I literally could not have done this without him. But his program, Business by Design, literally teaches you how to create this kind of like online education business in your way and like aligned with what you want to teach. It's literally the like Lego instruction manual of like everything you need to know to run an online business. It's the most incredible course. It's been life-changing. And I also have not even fully tapped into it. I feel like I've tapped into the course 2 or 3% of the course because it's like, it's a manual for whatever you need. So it's like I took from it what I needed and I applied it, and you're going to hear the results after this, which is crazy. But yeah, this is what changed the game for me when like I started taking it seriously. So, and by the way, you guys, so James, he opens up his Business by Design program. It's not a course, it's a program. It's like, you have lifetime access to the course. You can log in, you have lifetime access to like the step-by-step processes, but there is also like coaching, all these things. It's more than a course, it's deeper. So he does open up the doors to it once a year only. And he is opening the doors again this coming June, near the middle of June. So keep an eye out near the end of June. Keep an eye out for that if this does intrigue you. It really did catapult my education business. So, okay. So this year, like I mentioned, I made $21,700 from workshops and mentoring. And then 2019, this was the year I really felt like I was like, oh my God, I'm going to hit the ground running because I've learned so much in BBD, in Business by Design. And it gave me what the gift that I got from Business by Design was the clarity on like what to teach and what to focus on when I'm most passionate about teaching, which was like a huge gift because that is where you can be truly sustainable with your offer in education instead of just like, doing something just because you think it's going to make you money, or doing something just because you think this is what the community like wants to listen to learn from me. But let's say 2 years down the line, you get bored of it. It's like, no, I wanted to teach something that changed my life, that was going to change other lives in like a really deep, profound way, and teach it really well. So 2019 was my year of clarity for this. And what I did, and I'm actually going to create a separate podcast episode going into what I did in 2019 because it's very, very juicy. But I pretty much learned this strategy, this approach from Business by Design on it's called monetize before you make it. So literally like get paid for the workshop first, see that there's demand for this, and then create the workshop, and then people attend and you offer it at a lower intro beta price to just like give them the gift, since they're like the founding members pretty much. So this year, where I got really clear on what I wanted to teach and offer, what workshop I wanted to create, this was the birth year of OME, of Outsourcing Made Easy. And I will never forget the very first workshop I hosted on this in August. And like at the end of the day, it was like a 7-hour day or something. I mean, I had a whole presentation. I had a whole workbook set up for them, like which had step-by-step systems of how I outsource successfully in my business. And the students were just blown away. They were like, Sarah, you are going to change the industry with this, and you need to charge like quadruple for what you're teaching here. Like, we got this at a steal. And they were saying, I mean, the tickets were like, I think $600 then per person. And they're like, this is life changing. That gave me so much life. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, yes. Not only does this work in my business, but like it clicks for other photographers. They can now see how they can apply it and change their lives to like not ever hit burnout again, not be overworked. Like, this is incredible. So I'm going to record a podcast episode on how I did this in more detail. But I pretty much, to sum it up, I hosted the same workshop in my home. So I didn't have to rent anything, pay extra expenses in my home 4 times within 6 months. And I made $26,000 from this. And this is literally thanks to me getting really, really clear on my offer, how to offer it through Business by Design, through James Wedmore. So that was mind-boggling, because now I had this workshop, I had the workbook, I had everything step by step. And by the 4th workshop, which was actually January 2020, it was like right at the beginning, so I count it for 2019. I was like, this is it. This is what's going to be the online course that I'm going to create. So this is where things get interesting, because this is the start of 2020. And I went to work probably, wait, no. I already pre-decided. So after the very first workshop, I hosted in August 2019, and I had that feedback. I was like, okay, I'm onto something. I want this to reach more people than just people in Ontario, because this is just too impactful. So I ended up then deciding I'm going to create this into an online course. But while I'm creating it as an online course, I'm going to host this workshop again in my home over and over. So that's what I did. So come the start of 2020, January 2020, that was the very last workshop I said I would host in my home in person for Outsourcing Made Easy. And then it was going to turn into a, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going down memory lane. This is so fun. And then I mentioned, these are the last tickets I'll sell to this workshop in person, and then it's going to become an online course. So the launch date for Outsourcing Made Easy as an online course was March 14th, 2020. And that was literally the same week where the newspapers came out and said, pandemic. People were, washing their groceries, all this stuff just started unfolding. And I was in the middle of launching something I'd worked so hard to create. Like, creating an online course is a project. It is a freaking project, but holy cow, once you're done, you have that asset to keep reselling and rehelping people. So it's like so worth it, all that work. But in the moment, I'm like, I am literally launching a course to teach photographers how to outsource their work so that they get their time back. But weddings are being canceled. We can't shoot. Shoots are being canceled, postponed. Photographers don't need this course right now because they don't have anything to shoot. And it was really hard for me, to be honest. It was like a really devastating moment. I went down like a dark hole for like a month after I launched it. And like, happy news, I actually am very proud of this. I ended up making $13,000 still from launching this course, which was incredible at that time. But all the work that I've put in, the strategy, everything, I knew that if it wasn't a pandemic, I probably could have hit $50,000, $100,000. That was what I was projecting. So to have done all of the work that I've done and then not get that expectation that I had was very hard for me. And so it was hard. I had like a month of like feeling really like down in the dumps and all this stuff. But then I had my month and I'm like, okay, spring is here. Let's figure things out. Let me see how I'm going to navigate this pandemic. Right. So, we did the best that we could with like the reschedules, cancellations, all these things. But I will say that I was like, I am not giving up. I know what I have here can help so many people. It's just not the right time. And that's okay. And this is the circumstance. I'm going to choose to approach this circumstance in the most useful way that gives me peace and clarity and all these things. So as we continue through the 2020, I was just focused on whenever we had, what's it called? We had little pockets. That's what I was going to say. We had pockets of time where it's like, okay, every lockdown is not happening anymore. You can shoot weddings now. Remember, you guys, those 2-3 week periods. Okay, weddings can happen now, but masked. So I was just taking advantage of getting in as much shooting as I possibly could to earn that revenue, right? Which we all were. And then winter comes and it's like, okay, we're still in a pandemic, but it's a little less intense, but we're still in the middle of it. And I'm like, okay, how resourced am I? I have business by design. I know other areas I can teach photographers. And so from there, I decided, I'm like, you know what? I think it was mid-December to mid-January. I went to work for a month and then I created my next course, which is called Crystal Clear Marketing Mini Course. And it was a mini course, which is great because I could just pop it out in a month. It could still be super effective, but I would just offer it at a lower price point. So it's a 5-lesson course with 5 homework assignments to help photographers get really clear on their brand voice, how to show up in a soul-aligned way in their photography business so that they attract and book their dream clients. And so this is where I'm excited to share with you. So yes, in 2020, I did make $13,000 from my Outsourcing Made Easy course sales, but then your mind is going to explode at the results that I was able to get in 2021. It's like a quantum leap. So listen to this. So January 2021, I released the CCM course, Crystal Clear Marketing, and I made $13,000 from this course, which was like a lower ticket offer. Blew my mind. I'm like, wow, okay, amazing. So grateful because it helped me get through slow season in the middle of a pandemic. Helped me so much, helped create that financial abundance and peace that we could go through that in slow season in the middle of a pandemic. And then my plan was, okay, photographers still don't feel comfortable out investing in outsourcing because we're just starting to get our rhythm back with shooting. So I also have had this idea to create a course on exactly how I photograph weddings. So I created the intuitive storytelling course, and it's like a full A to Z course of how I create the client experience beforehand, how I shoot wedding days with actual behind the scenes of me. You can literally shadow me on a wedding day virtually. It's the coolest thing. And I talk to you in the camera. You see photos edited already real time, how they pop up as I'm shooting them. You get to see my settings, everything is in there. And this was literally as I found out that I'm pregnant, which was amazing, such amazing news. I was also, as I was growing my baby, I was also growing this intuitive storytelling course to launch in August of 2021 because I'm this is the perfect time to do it. I'm not shooting as much as I used to because of the pandemic. I have this time and space. I've just become pregnant. I still have time before baby comes. Let's freaking go. So I created this, the intuitive storytelling course. And in August 2021, still in the middle of the pandemic situation, I brought in about $35,000 when I launched intuitive storytelling. And then that's not everything, because this was the time where photographers knew that in 2022, all of the reschedule, this is where the pandemic was slowly stopping. Things were coming back up. Photographers were starting to shoot more. And photographers knew that in 2022, they would have weddings and bookings out the freaking wazoo because of all the things that got pushed forward. That they were like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to handle it. They were freaking out and they're like, I need help. I need help somehow. So that's when I relaunched Outsourcing Made Easy again in October of 2021. And that was a $75,000 launch. That's where it finally paid off for me. It took me a year and a half to wait, but it was literally because of the pandemic that it took me that long. But what's incredible is that I now had the skills to create other offers and make those really successful in the middle of a pandemic where I knew that people would value those two other offers more. And it was still aligned with what I wanted to teach and the things that I know are my zone of genius and what I'm really good at. So, as a total, to give you the total sales from 2021. So, by the way, when I say I had a $13,000 launch or a $35,000 launch or $75,000 launch, that is total revenue, like captured, but not actual cash flow in the moment, cash in the bank, because like, let's say 50% of students choose to pay in full and 50% of students choose to do a payment plan. So what I'm going to be, the number I'm sharing with you is the number that I received cash in the bank that year. And then the payment plan, some of that rolls over into the following year. So now moving forward, you're going to see my numbers be very different. And a lot of it is also just accumulated payment plans. So as a reminder, 2020, I made $13,000 from course sales. 2021, with everything I just mentioned, I brought in $95,000 in revenue from online course sales in the middle of a pandemic still. That to me blew my mind. That was where I had the moment of like, all my hard work, all of my determination, all the steps that I took paid off. And I'm like, I freaking did it. I created this incredible business, new branch to my business. And I was so proud of myself. And it helped me feel so at peace with being in a pandemic and also knowing that I was going to become a mom just around the corner. And I had this incredible, like, custom mat leave just created for myself, because guess what you get from payment plans? You get recurring revenue every single month. And so if I have a 12-month payment plan for Omi, that's like for 12 months, for a whole year, I make the sale for 12 months, I have monthly income coming in. So that's how I was easily able to like give myself a custom mat leave without having to take money, like my EI from the government, without having to stop working if I wanted to continue working, but like whenever I wanted to. So it's like if I wanted to take 2 months off, 3 months off work after having a baby, I could have done that. But if I wanted to still bring in income and work 1 day a week, every week after having a baby, I could do that. So to me, freedom, like number one value. I never want to be like put in a box where it's like, okay, so now you have to take EI from the government. So now the only way to get that money is you can't bring in other income. You can't work. It's like, no. I don't want to be put in a box. I'm going to create my own box, but to create it, I'm going to think outside the box. So that's what I did. And I'm telling you, it was incredible. So now 2022, as a first time mom, right? I had 32 weddings to photograph that year because of everything that got pushed forward from the pandemic, right? But I had my system set up. I had my outsourcing workflow set up. And I was good to go. And so if you are interested in hearing like the deep dive of how I did it, I have a podcast episode. It's called Shooting 32 Weddings This Year, working part-time hours, because I was working like only 25 hours a week on average in the shooting season. So that's 6 months out of the year. And making my full-time dream income while being a new mom, how I do it. That's episode 118. In case any of you want to like feel like motivated and driven, if you're planning on having kids, if you do have kids, it is so possible for us to work less and make more. So possible. So you can listen to that. But in general, so with me having 32 weddings that year, and I created my own custom mat leave. So in general, if I look at the whole entire year, I would say I probably worked 7 months out of that whole year, 7 to 8 months. And in the time I was working 25 to 30 hour weeks, including shooting 32 weddings. Okay. This is how powerful outsourcing can be and how doable. So in that year, as a first time mom, I had $94,000 in course sales because in October of 2022, I also relaunched my outsourcing Made Easy course. And this is what I'm telling you. The course is already created and you have that asset and you just relaunch it and re-help more people. It's so incredible. So proud of that. And that year, because of like having both the wedding revenue and the course revenue, I made, I believe it was $290,000 in revenue while working part-time hours and also giving myself a custom mat leave. So I'm sharing this with you just to be your expander. Like, it is so possible. It's just about working smarter instead of harder and in an aligned way. Okay, so that was 2022. And now we are at 2023, which was last year. So this year, to summarize it, last year, I call it my lazy year. I felt lost. We have those like chapters in our lives. I was just like, I don't know. I was confused about my vision of like where I want to go in my career, like next steps. And I was just kind of also in this transition still in motherhood, because there's still so many things that like unfold and like come out of you when you become a parent and that trigger you and that like, I don't know, it was in my year of self-discovery and it was my quote unquote lazy year in business. I just didn't have the energy, the motivation. I needed a break. Maybe it was like me, running a business for 12 years because I've been in business now for 13 years. And I was just like, I just want to freaking do almost nothing. Let me just see how that feels. And let me tell you, it didn't actually feel that great because not having that purpose, it just actually makes me feel more tired and more drained compared to right now. I'm like sharing this with you and I'm connecting with you this way. And I feel so much more energized and it just like continues to propel me forward. So it's okay. I knew I needed last year for something. And it was my year 7 in numerology, which is the year of self-discovery. So it was just aligned. It was meant for me. But I did get a lot of clarity on what I didn't want. And but I do want to share that this is, again, the power of payment plans and recurring revenue. So last year, even though I worked the least I have worked in my whole entire career ever, like I still made $83,000 in course sales revenue because from the previous year, whoever bought like Omi, for example, on a payment plan, that was recurring for me. And on top of that, I had like 14 weddings last year as well. And so I was still so good, but I got to pretty much take a lazy year for myself and choose that without being stressed. So I'm just telling you, like diversifying your income I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is work. It is like another business. Depending on how you want to scale it, right? To sliding scale. You can just start off with mentoring, like keep it really simple and have that, or the same workshop that you host once a month, once a quarter, like whenever you want. Or you can take it to, my goal is to like really reach like thousands of people and like help more. Like you get to decide that of where you want it, right? But like so it does take work. And obviously the more that you want to scale it, it takes more problem solving. It takes more support from like your virtual assistant, let's say, things like that. But it is doable. So whatever you want, you can make it happen. James Wedmore, my coach, always says, if there is a problem, that means there is always a solution because of the law of polarity in life and like duality. So it's totally doable and it's all about just starting small. So now we are in 2014. And just to give you a breakdown of like so far where I'm at. So I'm recording this episode. It's May 9th right now. And so from my payment plans, recurring revenue that I'm receiving, it's about $3,000 per month from like past sales. So that's just like amazing to have coming in slow season, right? And I'm about to hit wedding season and I'm going to have wedding photography remaining balances coming in and also the 3,000 recurring from payment plans, which is like average. It just depends when certain payment plans finish and start, all these things. But yeah, so if I were to not relaunch another course, and launching pretty much just means like opening the doors to it if you have like coaching calls that go right after when the doors open, or really just like making that big marketing push to let people know, hey, I have this thing that could help you. Does this resonate? Do you want in? Yes or no? That's what a launch pretty much is. So the last time I launched was October 2023 with Outsourcing Made Easy, and I haven't launched since. And this year, if I don't launch at all, nothing, then I would make $30,000 from the recurring revenue from past sales and plus my revenue from wedding photography. So that's just an idea to give you an idea of like where I'm at now. If I put in no extra work, which is amazing. But of course, I have big visions. I have big dreams. I want to help impact more people this year. And so of course I'm going to have launches. And so that's going to change. And I will only know those numbers next year. And so, yeah, I will only know those numbers next year. But just like as a summary, as you can see, since 2018, that's when things really changed. When I got like more serious about it, since 2018 to right now, where I'm at, I've made $363,000 in revenue from workshops and online courses. That is like 6-ish years. And it's like, but you can just remember how it really switched at one point when like the pandemic kind of like slowed it down for me, right? But if it wasn't for the pandemic, it would have been like in the last 4 years, I would have made $363,000 in revenue. So you can see how much impact that can have on diversifying your income. So yeah, as a reminder, since 2020, I made $13,000 in course sales. In 2021 was where I had the $95,000 year. Then 2022, $94,000 year. 2023, $83,000 year. So it's like really, there's just like metaphor called like the hockey stick effect, where it's like, you know how the hockey stick down low is just like flat and horizontal. And it's like, that is like your timeline of like, I'm starting to build this. It kind of feels flat and horizontal initially. And then out of nowhere, boom, you skyrocket and you go up and you're like the handle of the hockey stick. So that's what happened to me from 2020. It was the horizontal slow build. Then the 2021 year, like boom, 95K year, like hockey stick effect. So you can have that as well. But I mean, the only correlation that I've had was I didn't choose to figure this out by myself from scratch. I chose to learn from someone that I respected, that I resonated with, that I really appreciated his approach to business, which is, I mean, I love James because he is so incredible with like teaching you the logical step-by-step strategy and like, this is how you do it in this program. Here's how you set it up step by step, but also the like spiritual and the inner work of like, the more that you grow on the inside, the more your business grows, the more you face your fears, the more you get uncomfortable and you move through them, the more you like expand and you're like go past those fears and you become a new version of yourself that gets these results. So he has been incredible on my journey. And so with that said, I'm excited to share the free resources that he has. So here is the down low for all of them. So let me see here. Okay, so I'm going to give you the download for the first one. So the first one is an online mini course that he has that's normally $197, but he's giving it away for free. And I have the special link for that for you. So I'm going to read you like the description of it so you can listen to it and be like, oh yeah, that's for me or that's not for me. And then you can listen to the other resources that I have too. So starting an email list is one of the foundational places to start on this journey so that you have the contacts of the people that actually want to work with you more deeply rather than relying on how random the IG algorithm is. So it's about quality and not quantity. So in James's mini course, which is called Your First 100 Leads, James helps give you the step-by-step plan for attracting your first 100 potential new clients so you can make your first sale and then many more. And right now, this $197 course is totally free, so you can grab it while you can. Inside this training, you'll discover why traditional list building strategies don't work and leave you spending months creating a bunch of free content that no one ever sees, or worse, attract leads that never invest in you. This is why his course is so brilliant, because it's literally, he just takes out the stuff that doesn't work and he's like, this is the core of it. This is what will make it work. And this is what will literally attract the people that actually want to work with you and aren't just like extra people on your email list. So if you want to get into mentoring or a digital product business and you want to get started fast and get it off the ground in like the most efficient way, and you already know that your first 100 contacts will completely change the future of your business if they are quality contacts, and you want to know how to do it the right way, then make sure to go into the show notes, click the link that's like right beside your first 100 leads mini course, and you'll grab it for free. So this is an amazing place to start. If you're like, I want to get started, but I have no email list, like this is the place to start. It is the foundation. And like, you need to grab this course while it's free. I cannot believe he's giving it away for free. So grab that. And then also for those of you listening that are like, already have started on this journey in some kind of way, and you've started offering mentoring or workshops, or even you created your own online course, then this CEO assessment is like perfect for you. So it literally takes 64 seconds to fill out. And I love that James's team has literally taken the average of how long it takes people to fill out so they can know this, right? Because your time is valuable, right? And it's like, why do you want to spend like 3-5 minutes filling out an assessment? So they've made this super efficient for you, and it's super brilliant and like powerful for you to fill this out because it'll help you uncover and then also remove the number one invisible chokehold on your business that's preventing you from more sales and more impact. So this assessment, I love it because you get like a custom response of exactly where you're at. And then you'll be able to understand, okay, this is where I'm at. This is what would need tweaking. So you can click the link in the show notes for the CEO assessment as well. And I mean, for anyone, even if you haven't gotten started yet, like if it takes 64 seconds, like just fill it out and see where you're at, right? Like it's always such a valuable thing for us to really understand the health of our business, where we're at, and all of that. Then lastly, he has a new secret podcast that is out. So it's secret because it's not out in the Apple Podcast, Spotify world. It's like very exclusive. And I love that he created a podcast on this. It's called Source CEO Secret Podcast. And this is where like pretty much the premise of the podcast is elevating your consciousness and frequency and more, I said it wrong. Elevating your consciousness and frequency is what brings more success and abundance your way. And pretty much just like sum it up, it's when you grow, your business grows. And what I love about this podcast is that he brings out the spiritual principles and also like scientific principles that help you understand and uncover like those blind spots that are like within you, which are like fear or imposter syndrome, like those things, right? That we can be so blind to a lot of the times. And he speaks to those on like this incredibly expansive level. And I love James for the fact that he is just so smart in like business strategy and can be such like a business entrepreneur. But he also brings like the principles of spirituality and like personal development to share so that we can actually grow from the inside out. Because I do believe that our businesses, the way they are, our health of our businesses are a direct reflection of how we are on the inside, right? And so this secret podcast is incredible. You need to listen to it. It is like full of expansive perspectives that will literally like blow your mind. I think it's the most perfect thing to listen to on a walk or driving. So if you click the link in the show notes, you can also get access to that secret podcast. So that is pretty much it for this episode. Oh my gosh, I loved talking about all of this with you. And I'm not about to go create a course on how to create courses or start teaching and mentoring, because I really, really want to, dive deep and focus on, outsourcing made easy, crystal clear marketing, intuitive storytelling, my babies, my programs that I already created that are like so helping so many people. And I don't want to split my focus too much, because when you generalize too much, that's when that's when life becomes hectic, stressful. That's when you burn out. But I believe in diversifying your income so much, but I'm not about to create another course or offer on that. So that's why I'm just here sharing with you. James is like the go-to person for this. So if you've been thinking about this, like, here are the resources. Like, I don't have my own resources on this stuff for you, and I won't because I want to focus, but here's a direction. And now I'm really excited that I get to like talk to you about this and share, like, guide you to resources. Cause I'm like, yeah, it's been something that has changed my life in such a huge way. And the fact that I'm finally able to go on the podcast and talk about it because I've gathered enough data gets me so excited, because I only want to be teaching from actually a lived experience and an embodied experience. I never teach from something that I've never actually gone through before. So now that I'm here and I'm like, guys, this is life-changing. If you feel drawn to teach other photographers, mentor, like, just go after it. Follow your curiosity. Don't let fear stop you, because remember, it just takes one small thing at a time, one small decision at a time. And along the way, you get clarity, because action is what creates clarity. And then you can tweak things as you go, like just like I did, right? So the whole thing is like, the sooner you start, the sooner you'll get to that like dream of what you had, of what you envision in your mind, of like having these multiple like business pillars in your business, and, you know, diversifying your income. And as I was saying that, it said 5555 on my phone because I'm recording, and I can see that that's so angel number for anyone who needed a sign. But so that's it for this week's episode, and stay tuned for next week's episode, where I'll be guiding you on how to decide if mentoring and teaching other photographers is for you. So if you're still undecided, I will give you all of the like deets on that to help you get clarity there. Awesome. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll connect with you next week. Bye.
Yay! Thank you so much for hanging out with me and tuning into this episode. If you got value out of it, please feel free to message me on Instagram at Sarah Monica Photo. That's Sarah no H, Monica with a K, photo, to let me know. I get so freaking energized hearing from others that what I've said has had a positive impact on their lives. Also, make sure to hit subscribe to the Shine and Thrive podcast to never miss an episode. I'm so grateful for you, and I'm sending you all the productive vibes your way so you have the best week ever.